Okay, so I had to get this out of my chest. Hi guys, this is Farhad and welcome back to my channel Popcorn Reviews. If you're new to this channel, then please smash that subscribe button now. And as a video ritual, remember to like and comment on the video. Liking and commenting helps fuel the YouTube algorithm. And today I decided to make this video, because it has been a recurring practice of substandard content that has been served as far as the Hindi film industry is concerned. And last week was another one of those weeks in which all the content that was being served was absolutely trash and ridiculously bad. Whereas when it comes to the industries from the south, again they came to the rescue in the form of Dragon from the Tamil film industry and Officer on Duty from the Malayalam film industry. So this video I decided to make to, of course, rant a little about the things that aren't going well with the Hindi film industry, and also reasoning with the things as to why things aren't going the way they should on once an industry that I have grown on and I have loved that content isn't doing well at the moment. So first things, and this is based on all the maybe little discussions that I've had from people from the industry, without naming anyone. One thing that I have observed is that from the moment the corporates have made an entry into the Hindi film industry, everything has gone for a toss, and it is a reality now. It is at absolute rock bottom now. The reason for that is the corporates aren't creative people at all, but they have their interferences in the creative process of an individual, which is why they dictate terms, because they are the financiers and they finance the films. They dictate terms as far as the creativity is concerned, and they reverse engineer a film process which shouldn't really be a formula at the end of the day. For example, if a film like, say, a Bahubali from the south has been, making waves, they would try to replicate that same formula in the Hindi film industry. And I think that is a huge deterrent, because you do not take into account the cultural habits which are specific to the region in which the film is set in. What that also does is that you're just trying to replicate a soulless action entertainer for the sake of it without any emotions in store. So by that logic, your film will absolutely be ridiculously flattened out by the end of it. I mean, take of it in this way, that a corporate knows how to run a business, and a business is run based on the market fit that is there for a particular product or something that is being consumed. That market fit, can be easily replicated, by which if you find a particular formula for the market, it's easy to replicate things and find success as far as businesses are concerned. But cinema is not a business at the end of the day. You cannot have the same formula being repeated on screen just because you found that one thing that worked for you. I think that is the biggest problem that I have had as far as the creativity is concerned. Secondly, the budget of the films. I mean, once the OTTs that have come in, this kind of storytelling that is offered on OTT is drastically different from that of the Hindi film industry. Now, OTT was once a platform in which there was a lot of content, good content, that was being served to the viewers. That unfortunately has also been a dumping ground, but I'll get to that in a minute. At the moment, what is happening is that the price of the stars has gone high due to the OTT deals. At times it is the OTT deals that cover the pre-production, post-production cost as well. And they used to do that, but at the moment the OTTs have gotten smarter, and they've lowered their prices as far as the OTT deals are concerned, which basically means that the actor who's was charging like a 10x amount still has a 10x amount, without taking into account that the OTT deals have lowered down, which basically also means that the budget of the film is 10x higher. Imagine a whole one figure who's taking almost like 70% of the film's budget, and so the budget of the film has been failing. And that is another reason why you are being served substandard products, in which even the substandard products which once may have worked because of the restrained budgets are still not converting into footfalls. Compare that to a Malayalam film industry, for an instance. Of a film like Ponman just is made at a meager price of 3 or 4 crores, including print and marketing, and that is easy to recover as far as the theatrical run is concerned. Even if you end up with, say, a 6 crore or a 10 crore at the end of your lifetime figure as far as your theatrical is concerned, it still lands up making profit. And I think that is the one thing that many people are missing out on, the skewed disparity in pay that is actually going on for actors who are not even ensuring a minimum opening, not even they've done it like once in a way. And I think that is one of the main reasons why also the kind of content that is being served is absolutely ridiculous. The third thing that I would like to say is that the lack of new voices that are there, the lack of new voices is a very big issue here. If you have, say, just take an example of this week, and you had a film like Officer on Duty, which was being made by a newbie director called Jitu Ashraf in Malayalam. I have not seen too many new faces at all, neither in the storytelling department, which would actually tell searing stories of the current generation that is there. It's only you are pretending to think that the current generation is thinking in a particular way by getting in a figure who is way past his youth, you can say. And I think that is true. The fallback guys, as far as the Hindi film industry is concerned, is already people who are in this industry for 2 decades or more than 2 decades, like an Anurag Kashyap or an Imtiaz Ali or a Vikramaditya Motwani, all fabulous filmmakers, but they have been in the filmmaking since 20 years now. So there are no new voices. Imagine this, 2008 or 9, I think there was a film that was out, which was Wake Up Sid. And it's one of my favorite films of that era, starring Ranbir Kapoor. But one thing that made it special was its correct vibe that it catered to as far as the current generation of that of that era was concerned. And because it had Ayan Mukherjee at the helm of it, Ayan Mukherjee was straight in his probably early 20s or mid 20s by then, I'm not too sure, but it still catered to that style of filmmaking that understood the thinking of the current generation. And I think that is the biggest problem. The other factor, number four, how many new actors do you see in the circuit? There are no new actors who are actually talented. Now you would say that okay, there are a few share of actors, like Junaid or Janvi, Sara, Khushi, but none of them have had a tearing success yet. And I don't want to use the N word, because that N word has also brought us stars like Ranbir Kapoor and Alia Bhatt, who have been fabulous actors. That N word will not be associated with these actors that are there. There'll be no argument because they are so good. Even Ranveer Singh, for that matter, very good actor. Vicky Kaushal, exceptional actor. But these new guys that are there really need to pull their socks up. The camera, being in front of the camera, is the last place in which you will be learning on the job. And I think that is one of the reasons also why the performances are flat, because you want to learn on the job. You're not ready when your chance has arrived, and that is the major issue as far as the performances are concerned. There are no new actors who are in their 20s and now are reigning it. As far as some of the other industries, like say a Tamil industry is concerned, wherein you have a Pradeep Ranganathan who's absolutely nailing his opportunities that are there. First in Love Today, he'd also done another film. This weekend he had done Dragon. So he's making these opportunities count and converting them into footfalls. You can see the talent in him, which I cannot say much about the Hindi film industry. Recently, I watched the film Love Yapa, and it was set in Delhi. And my major gripe about the film, although it was a remake, a decent remake I would say, but one gripe that I had was with the performances of the two main leads. Junaid and Khushi Kapoor. These two starlets that were there just did not exude of that Delhi energy that was there. They just spoke like normal individual speaking. There was another film that was out earlier before that called Azad, which was absolutely a disaster. It had Rasha Thadani, it had Aman Devgan, both products of the N. You can say, I don't want to name that, but products of the N that were there, but they both seem so raw. I mean, just to have that Bundelkhandi being spoken in a Juhu Bandra accent is absolutely ridiculous and funny at the end of the day. So they were not ready when the opportunity had arrived, and I think that was the major problem as far as I see. Another problem is the Hindi film industry's overt reliance either on remakes or IPs, but absolutely no originality. And this is linked to my first point, which I talked about, creativity. So when a particular film that works in the south, they procure the rights and try to remake that in Hindi. Now there was an era in which we all have grown up on remakes that were there, but you have to remember that the OTT platforms that are there, which they've actually opened the horizon for a lot more people. Now I would understand that many people may not be comfortable with the English subtitles that are there, but there are still people who try and watch it with the Hindi subtitles. Some even the Hindi dubs are available, and still when the films are rolled out, it's kind of ridiculous as to how these films were greenlit in the first place. So the over reliance on remakes and IPs, I see IPs, I see biopics, but I don't see anything original. The only piece of original shit that I watched lately was Mere Husband Ki Biwi last week, which had me tearing my hair. It was so ridiculous. Azad also was another ridiculously bad film. So when it comes to originality, the Hindi film industry is still finding its identity. It still doesn't know where to place its films in. For example, if I have to take the example of the Telugu film industry, the films are over the top, but the filmmakers are absolutely committed to that original source material, wherein they go all out with it. They do not have half measures about staying back. They just go all out. They know it is over the top, and they know that this is the pulse of the audience. If the Malayalam film industry is content driven, the actors, and right from the actors to the producers and the writers, everyone are in line with that we will serve you something that is creatively stimulating. We'll go all out with that. That is the identity of the Malayalam film industry. The Tamil film industry is a mix of both, I would say. It has content driven films, it also has a few larger than life films, but it's a right balance, and the audience there are palatable to both. What about the Hindi film industry? Once upon a time, it was that angry young man era that was there of Mr. Bachchan in the 70s. Later on, it was that love story set in a foreign location. What about now? I can't place my finger on it, and it is about time that there are new writers and new voices that are being given chances as far as the Hindi film industry is concerned, because the crisis is actually real. If I have to talk about the OTT platforms also now, content which was once very stimulating, it's still decently better than what I would see on celluloid, generally speaking, but the content quality has also gone down. There was a recent tweet by Mukesh Chabra, and he said a very relevant point, that the kind of series that have made an impact have had newer people on the blocks, be it Scam 1992, which had a relatively unknown Pratik Gandhi rising to fame. Recent examples also include Patal Lok, which had Jaideep Ahlawat, or Black Warren that had Zahan Kapoor, wonderful actor. It also had Anurag Thakur, it had Paramveer Cheema. These are great actors, but they are lesser known people. And when these lesser known people are put into a world, they automatically blend into that beautifully. And the result of that is actually visually stunning. It's also accurate with the storytelling and indulging also. These are Hindi examples that I want to quote, something even like a Panchayat for that matter, Jitendra Kumar coming out of nowhere, also, being tagged with the TVF concept that is there, but still coming out and reaching out to the masses, through these shows. These aren't necessarily, no unknown names, you would say. They are not completely unknown, but at the same time, the masses, the extension to the masses was a little bit, curtailed, and that is when, these actors stood up. So I don't know why the OTT platforms also want, known faces to drive the narrative. I mean, that is just not the way forward. There's a lot to learn, lot to unlearn, and lot to reset again as far as the Hindi film industry is concerned. The entire ecosystem needs a rejig, and I think that is something, and it's also extended to critics like me, to not to reward mediocrity. And I think I see so many, without naming anybody, see so many mediocre films being given, free fund of 4 stars, 3.5 stars. I think that also, you're actually being party to that, and you are rewarding mediocrity. I know filmmaking is hard. I have the sympathies of the filmmaker. My sympathies are extended to the entire crew, but that doesn't mean that you take your audience for granted. I mean, last week I felt cheated. I was cheated completely. When I felt cheated, it was, last year during the Diwali weekend, wherein Singham again and Bhool Bhulaiya 3 were released. I didn't make a video then because I still, thought, okay, I would still give a little benefit of doubt. But when this week's releases came out, including the OTT ones, I was absolutely flabbergasted, and I said I need to get this off my chest, and I need to, make my opinion be heard about what I feel about the industry and what are the improvements that can be done, for the industry to flourish. It is an industry that I extremely love. There's no hate that is there. But I cannot tolerate the mediocrity and the sea of mediocrity that the film industry is actually going through and actually rewarding, with the performances as well. I think that is something that I cannot, watch, and which is where, the Malayalam film industry, the Telugu film industry, and the Tamil film industry are, prospering, because the content, creativity, and the budget, everything is in control. Yes, there will be losses as well at the end of the day, like we saw an iconic year like 2024 for the Malayalam film industry, also incurring a loss of 700 crores. These things will happen, but it does not refrain the industry from standing up every weekend and fighting again all over, learning from their mistakes, maybe not to over budget their films, but to actually further control their budgets, further indulge in creativity, and serve some magnificent films. This applies also for the Telugu film industry and the Tamil film industry. I think there's a lot to learn. This shouldn't be a fight between South versus the Hindi belt, the Hindi film industry. All of them have their cons and have their pros, but the Hindi film industry is actually at its absolute lowest and is in tremendous crisis, and the new voices that need to be done should also be, locally bred. You cannot have some filmmakers from the South. I'm all for it, you can have filmmakers from the South being pulled into the Hindi belt and be told stories, but the person should understand the culture in which the film is being set also. That person may be familiar with the culture of his industry, of his. Suppose there was a recent news that Dharma has roped in, the director of Marco, to make a film for them. That's a great move. But I think the director should be aware of the cultural pull that the Hindi film industry also has. He did terrifically with Marco. I would say it was an amazing thing, but it's just one little concern that will that adaptability be intact? There's nothing wrong in, giving chances. But at the same time, the locally brewed talent should also, be given that kind of a push, who understand the land, who understands the culture of the land, who understand the, the process, or the cultural impact of the industry in which the language is being said, so, or the film is being said. So I think that is, these are the kind of few issues that I have said, and I hope the industry listens to them if they can, and learns from it, and makes a better effort in the films that are being turned up. I don't have much hope from this year, because all I see are IPs, or I see are biopics and remakes occasionally. But let's hope this is a start of a conversation of unlearning everything and then learning everything all over again. So that was the video, guys. If you're liking this video, please smash that like button, comment on what did you make of this video, and what are your thoughts on why people are liking films from the south more than that of Hindi. I wouldn't say Bollywood is dying, I think that will be too extreme, but it definitely is in a crisis, and I think that needs to be addressed. So what you can do is also share this video with your friends and family, ask them to subscribe to the channel. Let's grow this Digi family together. And you can also visit my website, Popcorn Reviews with a double S, to read all the latest reviews on all the latest films from across the globe in your language. Also follow me on different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and Letterboxd. I do not end up making a video on everything that I watch, but I do write a lot. All information is present on my site and on my social media handles. I'll see you again soon with another video. Till then, take care of yourselves, and thank you so much for your love and support. Cheers.